bear to come charging, but nothing. We get up and walk on. About 50 or so yards before the cabin I hear it again. Don't crouch, but pull the ultimate dumb blonde in a horror movie. Is anybody out there? I'm armed, so don't be fucking around. In my defense, I didn't want to shoot some kids or a drunk hillbilly. But yeah, that was some Scooby-Doo tier shit, I know. Nothing. Double time it back to the cabin. Baxter is inside, sleeping. But I'm on the porch eating and watching. Nothing happens for the night, and for the next day. Laugh at myself. More than likely was just a bear. Go shooting / hiking / fishing and enjoy myself. Come back from walking Baxter and see a blood smear on the side of my cabin. Somebody tossed a goddamn squirrel at my house. Looked like it had been manhandled before breaking its spine off of my shutters. Assume there's some axe murderer stalking me. Stop going out on hikes and never leave my cabin. Don't want to run either. This place is mine and I'm not leaving early. Next day it rains. Stay inside and watch TV or read books. Realize I'm an idiot as I only brought scary horror movies and books and murder mysteries to creep myself out. Walk by the windows. Always feel like I'm being watched, but that's probably just nerves. Have a gun in every room. Next day the rain clears. I get O2 side, because I forgot some folding lawn chairs, but whatever, they'll dry. All broken, every one of them. They were only like 15 to 20 yards away from my house. For future reference, this is when the shit starts hitting the fan. I'm definitely being stalked. I've been hunting enough before to know that. And whatever it is gave its last fuck a while ago and I was late for the show. Which is bad. But, I've got my cabin, plus my Jeep, plus a surplus of firearms, thank you, based Wyoming. Which is good. If I had known how crazy it was going to get, I honestly wouldn't have stayed. We've had bears and shit before, and you Sally, if you stand your ground and shoot at them they leave you alone. Sitting inside, reading Stephen King's It, because fuck it at this point, when I hear another thud, this one just to the right of my front door. I don't wanna open the door, I don't wanna open the door. Open the curtains, see a bloody possum still alive, somewhat twitching. Nope. Go upstairs to my granddad's war chest and pull out Samuel Goliath, his M14 he smuggled back. Load that sucker up, my .44 Ruger on my hip. I already said every room was armed, but that was just like a 9mm per room. Pack up everything else and back in my back. I was still thinking it was some maniac killer, and I didn't want to have guns everywhere if he got inside. Have all my guns / supplies in bags in the living room in case I need to bug out. Next morning possum is still there, now dead. Toss it back into the woods, and yell something to the likes. Why don't you come out now in the daylight, you fucking pansy? Of course nothing. Since I'm feeling brave I walk the tree line. Whatever was out here broke some more of my shit, lampposts that haven't worked in years, another chair, my fire pit. Fear is slowly being replaced with rage. Get Baxter, decide to test my balls in the water. Walk a little while into the trees. I'm a dumbass, I know. I'm officially the fat guy in the slasher movie that hears a scream and says I'll go check it out by myself in the dark. We walk for a bit. The further we go the lower Baxter gets and the more he whines. Don't need Cesar Millan to tell me he's scared of being in someone's territory. In the distance make out a familiar shape. The stone building from before. We've gone too far this time, Scoob, old buddy, old pal. See a tall gray chimney in the back that I didn't notice before. Shit on a dick, that chimney just moved. That's no chimney, and it's not Yogi Bear. Can't make out what it is, but it's pretty tall and slender and gray. Raise M14, yell hey. It sways slightly, then does this awkward four-leap and dash to the side into the bushes. Get posseed by Tom Cruise from Born on the 4th of July, fire off rounds like a madman. Think I hit it, defiantly heard a groan screech. I know I'm ripping off that Goldman story where he says it sounds like a cat talking, but that's the best way I can describe it. Don't know if I hit it, it could have been a battle cry for all I know. Fast walk back to the cabin. Don't want to run, especially if I'm being hunted. Make it home in one piece. Pack everything. I'm leaving tomorrow, with tonight, but I am not driving around in the dark. Not even the Alma was worth a shit. At the very least I am coming back with friends. Have everything. Repacking to keep myself busy when I hear Baxter growl. Not deep angry growl, like when the mailman comes to your house, deep back of his throat growl. Take out my .44, and walk slowly to the kitchen. Nothing, no monster, but Baxter is low and snarling to the window over there, but in one spot like something was breathing on it. And just to make sure my therapy lessons are worthwhile, a handprint on the glass. Stare at it for a few seconds, almost start laughing at how ridiculous this is. The print was too long to be human. Tack a pen and put in at the point where your finger meets your hand and see how long it is. Like that long. Rifle over my shoulder, revolver on my hip, I walk from room to room double/triple checking to make sure I have everything. Haven't seen the place this empty since I inherited it. I'm really just keeping busy. If I sit for too long I'll go stir crazy, and I had since given up on ever sleeping again. Had Baxter on a leash to keep him close, but soon took it off. Poor guy wouldn't leave my side. And I hear a thud. Again. Then another and another. Check the front, dead raccoon, disemboweled. Check the back. Rock. He ran out of animals. Check the front. Deer leg. He found another animal. Then I remembered we had these searchlights I had forgot about that you could turn on from the den. We used to play volleyball well into the night when we were little, so Dad put them in. I juggled with the idea. I didn't know if it would scare him off or piss him off, plus I didn't really want to get a good look at whatever it was. That's when I heard another thump. But this one was different. It was going in a horizontal pattern along the outside of the walls. It was smacking the sides of my house. My legs were shaking and I'm surprised, proud, I didn't piss myself. Granddad used to tell me stories of Vietnam, how you know the enemies are there, but you grip your rifle to the point your knuckles hurt and you wait. But how the waiting is the worst part of all. Fuck it, I turn on the floodlights, and walk to each window. And that's when I finally saw this ugly bastard. So I'm going from room to room, and I'm not seeing anything. I'm getting more and more relieved, thinking I scared it off. I went to the window right under where the lights were and I saw it. Well, actually I saw the dead deer first next to the tree line, all bloody and torn up to all hell. But I then see this thing. Now, I've read through a lot of creepypastas and /x/threads, watched a lot of those hunting Bigfoot/Goatman shows, and they all have a lot of similarities. 7 to 8 feet tall, red eyes, smell blood in the air, face like a gorilla and build like a brick shithouse, and I can get why people who study them think of them as some missing link to evolution, because yeah, they do look like some long-lost gorilla relative. But whatever in the hell this thing was did not. It was tall, not really tall, but I'd say around 6'3", and slender, long arms, those long fingers that will molest my dreams for years to come, but its face wasn't like an ape, it was more like a baboon. Long and droopy. When I googled pig-related, it gave me chills to see it again. It wasn't colorful, but like a black-reddish color that matched his fur, which was surprisingly sleek. Its eyes were yellow, probably the only relatable thing to the other cryptids, and the light surprised it, like when you turn on a light and wake someone up. It then glanced at me and we had a Clint Eastwood stare down before it snarled back, its lips showing the yellow baboon-like fangs. It screeched like a bat and did that same side-to-side leap back into the woods. I closed the curtain, checked the lock and curled up with my rifle until morning. When it came I made one trip with all my things and drove like a madman back to town. And that's pretty much it. My friends and I went back a month later, some of the shutters were broken off and there were some scratches, but aside from that it was fine. I've been camping since then, but only with large groups, no tents and not that deep into the woods. I told my friends and family everything, they all more or less believed me. I'm not the only one with a weird hunting story, though I'm sure mine is worthy of some sort of prize. I told my girlfriend's dad, who's an avid hunter, and he just shrugged and matter-of-factly said, "Yeah, shit happens if you go out deep enough," and then in the most deadpan serious tone, "Those woods aren't ours, not all of them at least." I've been looking into cryptozoology and into those Goatman threads, and I have yet to read about anything like what I saw. I don't know if I found some inbred Bigfoot or found some kind of new thing that nobody knows about. I've been meaning to ask around to a lot of the local Native Americans. They of all people would probably have a legend of it. It still bothers me how we spent so much time out there as children and never saw anything quite like that. Like it could have been watching us the whole time. I asked my dad and he's just said the same thing as my GF's dad. I still have yet to sell the cabin, probably never will, but whatever. For all that it's worth, it can be that thing's home now. Be dude LMAO type of teenager. Basically fed up and want to do something different during my high school holidays. I was 15 at the time. This was back in 2004. Friend of mine invites me to go camping with him in this place called Il Hadumel, literally translated to Honey Island. During high season it's full of normies and families, but off season it's just natives and people who want to get high and abuse drugs. We obviously decide to go in the off season. Buy tickets, borrow tents, pick some weed for our stay. Had been there with family as a kid but never as a grown-up. Always stayed at the island's main hotel when I went there. It was my first time camping, so I was very excited. After a long day of bus plus ferry, finally reached the destination. Sort of worn out. Have a beer and a burger at the island's only open diner at this time of the year. While there, overhear a girl speaking English. Look in her direction. It was a group of 3 girls actually, seemed like they were also there for dude low. They were talking to this rough, native-looking guy. Didn't look like they knew the local language, Portuguese. They seemed to be getting by speaking broken Spanish and trying some easy English words here and there. Seemed like they were trying to buy something or he was offering them something, drugs, likely. Too tired to try and strike up conversation. My burger and light up a ciggy after I'm done. While friend and I are smoking, a boorish geezer approaches us. Literally, "Hey kid" at us, not even joking. "Yeah, what up my dude? You guys camping? 'Cause I know a nice, cheap place." We look at each other and basically think "yeah nah." Then he says, "It's $5 a night, open space only about 50 meters from the sea, has an outhouse and you can smoke as much as you want, and if you need it we can arrange it for ya." Fuck, actually a much better deal than everything we had seen so far. Of course it looks like the fucker is going to rob us the first chance he gets, but then again this is how everyone looks in the place away. We were 15 and stupid, we accept his offer and go with him to the place. Turns out he wasn't lying. Quite an alright place. He has a small house at the place, wherein he lives with his wife. There's also a shed in the aforementioned outhouse. As we arrive, his wife greets us and literally offers us lizard soup. Lizard soup, it stinks but tastes good, or so she says. Nah, we're good, just want to set up our tent and sleep through the night. Okie dokie, we pay for the night and for the next 4 days. Smoke a joint and go to sleep. Wake up next day feeling refreshed. Smoke a blunt, light up a cig. Let's explore.